Welcome back to our Pokemon Labs League Challenge. This is our semi-final match, and it's going to be Anthony versus Brian here. It's going to be very exciting because someone is about to go into the finals. And Anthony, if I'm not mistaken, went undefeated, so it was 4-0, while Brian got in with 2-2. So it's going to be a very exciting match here. And Brian, like I said, this is his second local, already top-cutting, a lot of potential on the field. And there's Anthony on the left with that Annihilate, Grimmsnarl, Mousehold, Pelipper, Sinistron, Archaladon. Brian on the right with Volcarona, Rillaboom, Goldengo, Frigiraffe, Sneasler, and Dragapult.
Anthony, other reasons why this is an impressive showing.
One thing too, though, I want to point out that he had to beat Dina in order to get here.
He did have to beat Dina earlier in the tournament.
That's fun.
And he got down paired into Dina, like he really had to win that game.
That could have decided things.
But as far as these teams go, it's actually Anthony's team has got some similarities to Coral's from the last game, but the Archaladon and the Annihilate on the same squad, plus that Pelipper. Brian with that Sneasler Dragapult team that we saw in round number 3.
And I think here, just looking at the two leads, there's one thing that's kind of an interesting call that may come into play later game. It's Tailwind on Pelipper. It's a fragile Tailwind setter because it's got Life Orb and it's hyper offensive. But against Sneasler and Dragapult, it's going to help your Annihilate, it's going to help your Archaladon, and Dragapult and Sneasler really don't want to face Archaladon. I mean, Sneasler's really good into Archaladon. Close combat, if it's Adamant Nature, can one-hit KO. However, get that Terra Grass and you get Electro Shot and it's over. So it's a very high risk, high reward situation.
The Sneasler is also the Sneasler. It's in a similar 50-50 spot.
It is.
We'll see the leads here, but it's in a similar 50-50 spot against the Archaladon, and even with the Tailwind, it's going to outspeed. It does not matter. The outspeed. it doesn't matter. It's still going to outspeed because of the Unburden.
Yeah. That works here. Golden Go Rillaboom on Brian's side, and Anthony League with Pelipper, Grimmsnarl. Gonna set up some screens here. Again, Tailwind support. There's Fake Out on
mention here as it is possibly about to show up on screen. Pelipper is Terra Stellar.
Yeah.
It is real offensive.
Just full hyper offense. There it is. It's showing on the screen.
There it is. The very cool Stellar Terra. It's got a turtle on its head.
Stellipper. That was a terrible joke.
That's a good one. No, I'm into it.
Alright, cool. I am curious, though, because it should outspeed the Rillaboom, I believe. So the light screen will go first, and you can just go for that Terra Stellar Hurricane into the Rillaboom slot. Or goes for a Terra Stellar Weather Ball into Golden Go, so no damage done. And Rillaboom gets a free turn here.
Let's see what Rillaboom decides to go for. It's enough. Gets rid of the Life Orb. That will make it do less damage. And potentially puts it in a scenario where Grassy Glide might knock it out.
I think so.
I don't know if it will. It'll be pretty close, though.
Could risk the Thunder Wave into it.
Yeah.
But I think Rillaboom's shot speed's there. But I think your best bet, you go for the Weather Ball again.
I mean, Grassy Glide is going to knock it out regardless. Is going to knock out the Pelipper regardless of anything other than a switch.
Yeah. Which actually I'm surprised we won't see a switch. I think it's a relatively safe swap from the Pelipper out into Archaladon. Yeah, even with Volcarona on the field, if you don't have a way to remove the rain, Volcarona can't do all that much. And this is a Tailwind support Volcarona instead of the Quiver Dance set we've seen quite a bit.
It's also real bold to switch in Volcarona on a slot that you know was targeted by a Terra Stellar Water Weather Ball.
I guess you just assume the Grassy Glide would KO, which it doesn't!
But it doesn't! And that Volcarona is not going to be very happy with Brian.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's gone.
I did not think Pelipper would be able to take that. That is a bulk. Pelipper or Pelipper's bulk is way better than I expected.
I think knockoff is a better move than we give it credit for. Because it just does this nonsense sometimes. The good news for Brian, there is a lot of it. Close combat is virtually free into Archaladon if you want to.
Yeah.
Grassy Glide will knock out Pelipper, that's for dang sure this time. You could also go for a Swords Dance if you're pretty confident that Sneasler's not going to take damage this turn.
Which is, I think, the right play. I think the right call is to go for, bring Grimmsnarl back in, get the Reflect going. Do you risk the close combat? No, you just swap out, which this is Sinistron, so it's not going to take any damage. And that is a nice little addition there.
If Brian thought about this, slowed the game down, and goes for a Swords Dance here, This would be a great turn for Brian.
Oh, it's close combat.
But it's not. but never mind.
And big news, too, to an extent. Sinistral's got a thing called Trick Room against something that is very fast. But I guess Machagacha is...
I don't think there's any reason to really click Trick Room at this point. I think you can just keep up your screens,
it's a
keep
big
doing
concern.
damage.
I was expecting a Sword Stance there, which is why I thought Trick Room would be viable. So, because even through the Reflect, then you'd still lose
I mean,
your
the thing is,
Archaladon,
Machagacha would have been a potential burn.
That's also very
Which
useful.
could have really shut down that Sneasler and would have basically ended the game.
Yeah.
And this Machagacha will be pretty okay anyways. It will do basically no damage. Will it burn?
Well, it costs some recovery,
Probably not.
at least.
Will it burn? Probably not.
I doubt it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no burn.
But I think it's okay still. It's an interesting spot because it's very passive from Anthony's side. Not a lot of damage output. Golden Go.
What is leftovers Golden Go?
Of damage output right now. And I think, though, it's going to the game's really just kind of devolved into Sneasler and Archaladon. There's still a lot of other factors.
I mean,
obviously
do remember that Sneasler doesn't get Unburden anymore, though. So if Pelipper is somehow able to get a free turn to Tailwind, then...
I believe that, I think it actually does get Unburdened, just not the defense pool, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, the Unburden's gone.
Alright, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's that's a useful little bit of information there. So Pelipper could take that to its advantage, but just Sneasler's speed is so terrifying.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sneasler's already the fastest thing on the field, regardless.
Yeah,
so
you don't really need the Unburden, but still.
You don't need the Unburden unless you're against Tailwind, in which case it lets you match the other Tailwind or any other, like, upping speed control.
This has gotta be the Archaladon, right? Yeah. If any attack comes out, it's just gonna boost its defenses with the Reflect. Kind of neutralize Sneasler, and the Grassy Glide gonna help with that.
No.
Exactly what Anthony wanted. Nasty Plot and Golden Go.
Nasty Plot's good. I think the only way that Brian really has back in this game is boosting one of these two knuckleheads, either Golden Go or Sneasler. The chance that actually contributes to a win it's going to be tough.
We're also going to get a little look here, though, who's faster, the Golden Go or the Archaladon. Golden Go is faster than Archaladon, so a little bit of a bulkier Archaladon. A lot of Archaladons have been shifting over to max speed just to get that 1+ on, usually choice specs.
They are pretty close.
But yeah, it is going to be the
note
Golden Go.
that this Archaladon does have Snarl, so if it just wants to Snarl this Golden Go, it can.
It's not a bad play, although...
They could just try to hit it. But
yeah, I was going to say, I think it may be better to just...
hit it for big damage instead, but Snarl is super effective, which is why I mentioned it. Unless/until it terrestrializes, which feels like the right call because I don't know what else you care.
I don't think you want a terrestrial into the Sneasler. It's flying type Electro Shot. Would not do.
Use a Shadow Ball, which will do 8 damage against Pelipper. Which will knock out the Pelipper, but Pelipper gets to get the rain back up, which is important.
It's essentially clicking Rain Dance by switching. But Electro Shot, this is going to be I believe +1 to Golden Go. I don't know if it would KO right away, but it's definitely going to deal heavy damage.
Yeah.
It seems to be a bulkier Golden Go, though, based on...
Golden Go's not going to love it. Yeah, it's leftovers, it's Nasty Plot, it's going to have some bulk on it. Rillaboom's going to U-turn out. I don't know about that decision.
I feel like the Shadow Ball and U-turn should have been swapped, but...
Yeah, although, yeah, especially given that was the Sinistra in that slot before, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that might have been ideal. I don't think getting rid of the Sinistra actually meant a whole lot for Brian. I think you need damage right now. Because right now I think Sneasler, if Sneasler is going to contribute to the result of this game, it either needs to crit close combat onto Archaladon, or it needs to Sword Stance. And I don't think you have the opportunity to use Sword Stance right now comfortably.
I think you just lose Sneasler right now.
I think you just lose.
Yeah.
I think this game's not looking great for Brian.
No, the Electro Shot plus a Thunder Wave on Sneasler. There's... Okay, here's how Brian wins.
Well, and that's the thing as well, is that you know that you know that Sneasler would be able to be Thunder Wave, yeah.
I was going to say, here's how Brian wins, and it's not impossible because we've seen a lot crazier today. Thunder Wave misses on Sneasler, Sneasler goes close combat onto Archaladon, and it crits it. That's the only way. That is the only way.
Grimmsnarl does drop to make it rain, but it got its job done. I mean, for what it's worth, Brian is ahead in Pokemon right now.
It's that I don't think will last for long.
I don't think it will last through this turn, but it's Electro Shot coming through now. On to Golden Goat would knock out.
I believe the Sneasler is the more threatening.
I think it is targeting Sneasler.
Yeah. Do not want to risk cold combat, and it is an easy one-shot.
Easy one-shot indeed. Yeah, Sneasler just kind of gets hit really hard. Whoever was asking about how to deal with Sneasler, hit it really hard. Especially the ones that don't have Sash.
I keep thinking it's not actually over for Brian, but again, you're banking on a crit. You're gonna have to fake out the Archaludon, and at this point, you don't really. It's Golden Go versus Archaludon. So yeah, Sinistcha. I would be surprised if it does not go for a some sort of move. I don't know what the best bet would be. Whether it is to go for just
Hospitality healed it all the way back up.
That's nice. It's very nice. I think you fake out Archaludon.
Yeah, and the problem is Golden Go is still on half HP. Golden Go's still not in a super comfortable spot right now.
You basically need to crit the Archaludon because you are +2. That should pick up a KO.
Yeah.
But you need to crit.
Well, and I think you need to get the Sinistcha out of the way because otherwise it'll just quick life you.
Yeah, I think you gotta go for Shadow Ball. And
so I think you have to get. Yeah, I agree with that as the choice. So there's the fake out. This is a +1 Shadow Ball coming out of the Golden Go right now. Never mind.
That was passive, but I like it.
Plot. No, I think that's. I think that's.
Oh wait.
It's more likely that you win doing that than. This Life Dew will do nothing. Yeah. That Life Dew did literally nothing. Oh, sorry. It healed 3 HP for Archaludon. That was really important. But no, I actually think that was a good play for Brian.
It was
because now, I mean, your Golden Go is not going to drop to basically anything Archaludon does this turn.
I'm not too sure about that.
It's not great. Oh, and the light screen wears off. That's big. That's actually very big.
I think you gotta protect on Golden Go. I'd be really surprised if you don't.
I mean, what is your... Yeah, you protect on Golden Go. What does Rillaboom do this turn?
I really like Trick Room here on Sinistcha. Because we know the Archaludon is slower than Golden Go, so that would reverse it. And I think that Archaludon does pick up the one-hit KO on Golden Go right now. Well... You've got Snarl. The thing is, if the Golden Go Terras, that's when it's really concerning. But then you're also weak to Body Press. So it's a 50-50 call. You gotta play your Terra right, I think.
Did remove the Assault Vest there, notably. So we'll take a little more damage against special attacks. I mean, remember, this Archaludon takes special attacks worse.
Oh my gosh!
This Archaludon takes special attacks worse than... it did before. Despite all of the building up and stuff, this Archaludon takes special attacks worse than it normally should. So maybe...
a +3 Shadow Ball.
Maybe a +3 Shadow Ball?
The thing is, you're gonna have a +4 Electro Shot, so I think the Electro Shot will pick up the KO. There's not much.
Yeah,
I feel like Anthony pulls it off, but...
Here's the Electro Shot.
What is the Golden Go doing? I thought the Golden Go was faster. Are they speed tied?
I think they might be speed tied.
They're speed
tied. I think it's possible they're speed tied.
It does not get the Golden Go, but I'm now
I'm gonna figure out how to fix speed tied real quick. Give me a sec.
That no way. There's no way.
They might be speed tied.
The Golden did recover HP faster, so. Unless there was Tailwind in play, but I don't think so.
Yeah, no, there's no Tailwind on that, is there?
But either way, Anthony takes game number 1 here pretty comfortably. At this point, Rillaboom, this Rillaboom cannot touch at all. It knocked off, and look how much damage that did. You just click Body Press, pick up the KO, and Anthony, 1 game away from going into the finals undefeated. Brian, I think if you're Brian, and there's the forfeit, but if you're Brian, you're like, okay, you know what? I didn't play horribly. I think Brian brought the right 4. Honestly, I don't think I don't think that Farigiraf was really gonna help. I don't think that Dragapult here into rain it's good. Dragapult's really good into rain if you have a weather counter like Tyranitar, but on its own, you really don't want to with it, especially with Annihilate and Sinus Chop, like being able to redirect attacks, those Dragon Darts. It's just not the right call. Wouldn't be surprised that maybe we do see Fridge Draft in play, but I still think it's just not good. It's too passive for this team. So I think the right four brought in. It when in doubt with Volcarona, yeah, it's going to go down, but you're going to get some redirection.
They are, nice. In fact, speed tied.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you for holding. That could really decide some games.
That is insane.
That could really decide some games here. I think Anthony had the right call there. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think Anthony desperately needs to bring Archaludon to these battles.
I actually like the Archaludon.
I think the Archaludon's good. I don't think it's like strictly necessary, and I think that playing around it's obvious. Playing around not having Arch or playing around Arch playing differently could be good because Brian might overcommit to Archaludon. Like, and that's the thing about these Archaludon Annihilate teams is that if you overcommit to one of them, like if you get bowled over in game number 1 by one of them, you as the winning team can swap over to leading with the other one or starting with the other one, and so the other person's like, what do I do about this? Now hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need a minute.
I think these are the correct.
Because now we've got the Annihilate mouse hold.
Yeah, I think that was, like you said, that's the smart play, is to swap it. You don't necessarily want to play super consistently, and Sneasler did put pressure on both of the Rain leads, so this is a good lead, I would say, for
And keep in mind, Anthony. this is not one of them, like, offensive wide-len mouse holds. This is Friend Guard, Safety Goggles, Beat Up, and then all the other moves, but this is a real defensive mouse hold.
I will say, though, I think this is the right play for Brian as well, because you put Fake Out Pressure right away, which causes either a Protect, X2, or and the Rillaboom swaps out, which is also smart, because again, just having it on the field offers that pressure. You also have the pressure from the Mice going for the Beat Up, and we are going to see Terra. I believe this is going to be Terra Flying, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if it's the Sneasler, yeah, it's got to be Terra Flying.
Well, I think honestly, if you are Anthony, the best bet is to just go for an X2 Protect here, and don't take any damage. Because either way, this is not going to be good. And the Mouse Hold goes for that first Protect. The second Protect, is it going on to the Annihilate? It is. That's the play. And now you can very safely Terra to Dragon and Rage Powder and Bulk Up, and that will help you quite a bit, considering the Sneasler. You'll get at least a +1 into it. You won't have anything that will be super effective against you either. Yep. It's just the right play. Could Rage Fest it, I guess, and just take the hit, because it's a neutral Sneasler, and then Mousehole can go for Beat Up. But that's not a bad play. But I do worry now that Hyper Voice can do some decent damage on for a draft, because you are Terraing to Dragon.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a little bit of a concern. But here is that Terra for the Annihilate. Terra Dragon leaves it weak to Fairy. Not that that's relevant into this matchup.
We'll say it's also, and we're going to see Acrobatics. I think this is coming up.
It's got a
50%.
Okay damage, but not enough. And Beat Up 1, 2.
Feels like
3.
I want to see the Mousehold host a children's television program.
1.
How many times do you think I'm going to Population Bomb?
And that Rage Fist now has approximately a bajillion base power, and that will knock out the Sneasler for sure.
I am curious now if this Hyper Voice is going to be able to pick up the KO and Annihilate. There's the answer.
Not enough.
And I actually think that it's still very good positioning. Just looking at the two Pokemon most likely in the back, doesn't even matter what Brian has in the back. If this is a max speed ape, which generally a lot of people have been running max HP, max speed, that's the standard Annihilate set. Right now you just double protect, and then you could just reach or follow me, and then get rid of what you need. You also can go into Grimmsnarl if you need, but I just like the idea of...
Ooh, this is the nastiest play of all time. Annihilate swaps out because you maintain the Rage Powder stacks, or the Rage Fist stacks. Archaludon comes in, and take out the Archaludon all it wants, gives it 1 extra stamina boost, and how many more stamina boosts do you want? You want one.
Stamina. Both saying is Annihilate actually outspeeds the entirety of Brian's team.
That did 1 HP of damage. Am I crazy? Did that not?
I think
that did just 1 HP of damage. Oh man,
that is some Well,
That is a +5 Archaludon now on the defensive side.
The Trick Room was the right play.
I actually agree with the Trick Room as well, yeah.
You had to.
Not that I think it will matter a whole lot, because that Archaludon just
Yeah,
up all
that's
that
what I was thinking.
damage. Because now Body Press is just going to be ridiculously strong. And the only thing you have to be worried about is Golden Go, but that's not that concerning. Like, what happens if Golden Go comes? Like, what does it do to you?
It basically clicks Shadow Ball and crosses its fingers for a critical hit.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I'm probably understating what it does. Ooh, Asshole barely takes that. Which is important, because the Follow Me is still in effect for the Rillaboom's U-turn.
And our Archaludon is now max.
It is indeed maxed out.
Defense. Let's go. And you know, just to chip it, we saw the last one in the back for Anthony. It's Grimmsnarl. So, you've got yourself screens as well, which is very useful for the Golden Go.
You have Golden Go, and that's actually pretty good for...
What the fuck on that giraffe?
The giraffe is taking that?
That's surprising.
Giraffe goes crazy?
Giraffe does have Spirit Break, which is nice, but you gotta watch out for Golden Go. I think the play is to just kind of click Snarl. Yeah. And go for Light Screen. There's just nothing.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's... You just add on to the Archaludon's bulk.
And because they're speed tied, they're still speed tied in Trick Room.
Hypervoice goes first. Does more damage on Archaludon than I thought it would. Yeah, the Nasty Plot you kind of had to.
I agree with that choice, although you're only going to get +1 because that Snarl is going to miss the Fur Giraffe, but it still hits the Golden Go. That's pretty nice for Brian, honestly, because you get another Hyper Voice off. Like, this Fur Giraffe is doing more damage than you would anticipate. It's also... Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, because the Golden Go is out, but it's blocking a hypothetical Thunder Wave. If a Pokemon that got Thunder Waved was on the field, it would be blocking that Thunder Wave.
I think you just, again, you click Snarl and...
Yeah, I think, like, the Snarl should take out the Fur Giraffe whenever it actually gets to hit the Fur Giraffe.
Yeah.
And the Fur Giraffe is gonna go leave.
I mean, I'm not defending that just because I think Annihilate. You really want to save Rillaboom for Annihilate because it's in the red and you got Grassy Glide?
Yeah.
I would just save them for a draft until the Trick Room expired, but Spirit Break, you're gonna at least drop Golden Go special attack a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, is making sure... Yo, the crit! And that's the important thing, making sure that the Golden Go is not, like, scaring you too much. Like, that's not scary, I'm not scared of that. Now it's at -1 special attack, and a Snarl will drop it down even further to -2. It might have to switch out. Like, obviously a Nasty Plot would be equivalent to switching out, but it might need to switch out at this point, which would not be ideal.
I think you gotta... Yeah, you gotta... Well, I think you kind of bank on the fact that you want your Fur Giraffe to get hit so you can reset, essentially, without clicking Nasty Plot and taking another -1 from the Spirit Break.
Like, you could potentially... Like, there's not really a lot of options that you have right now as Brian. No. Like, you don't have damage.
No.
Especially now that Fur Giraffe is swapped out, you don't get the Throat Spray anymore, and so that does way less damage than before. Like, what are you doing to this Archaludon that could knock it out?
There's one play, and it's super risky. You gotta go for the knockoff into the Archaludon to remove, and then you gotta crit with Golden Go, and at that point, you gotta win the speed tie, the crit, and at that point, it would just be the Giraffe and the and the Golden Go against Annihilate, and if that's that, you win. I don't think that... If you had to knock off. You had to knock off there.
You can knock off next turn at least.
You can, but you really needed the Fur Giraffe on that turn, I think, if you ask me. Because if it's a one-on-one with Golden Go, the Trick Room will expire, and then Anthony's able to go for the Rage Fist. I think you need to knock off that turn. Because now you don't... You will lose your Rillaboom to Body Press this turn. No question. And you can go for a +1, right? But at that, like I said, if that's the case, you still lose your Golden Go to Rage Fist. So I think that going for fake out and was the only win condition I can think of. I think Anthony is in the clear here, but we've seen a lot of shocks before, like earlier today. So anything can go, but this is very good positioning for Anthony right now.
The Archelodon up to Rillaboom by 1 point. What is with these speed tier?
It's an interesting speed tier day. It's not the first time that we've seen something like that today, where it's just slightly out of range. And we are going to see the Golden Gopher protect. I'm actually surprised I didn't see it go for a Nasty Plot there. It's kind of safe Nasty Plot, if that's me. Oh, the body press does. Yeah. Oh, and a crit. Well. Just to boost.
That's the thing. I feel like a Nasty Plot was necessary to a degree. Like, get the Nasty Plot, try to get the Giganto crit, whatever. Like, even if you just got up to +1, I don't know, you needed to do something there. Yeah. And I think at this point, the Archelodon doesn't really do anything to you as Golden Go. So the I guess question here for Golden Go is, how do you get rid of everything else?
Crit the Archelodon and outspeed Annihilate is your only, and you got a crit.
Well,
knockout.
It's not even that. I think if you're Brian, you have to say, okay, this Golden Go is not taking any damage against Archelodon. You have to presuppose that in order to like even think of a way to get back into this game.
Yeah.
Even if you do take damage against Golden Go, you have to presuppose that you don't take damage against Golden Go, or against Archelodon, because it's gonna have to Electro Shot to do really anything. Like you're not taking much damage against this thing.
I actually like the Electro Shot because even if it protects now, the Annihilate's gonna be able to not only will the Annihilate be able to scout out who's faster if the terrain stays up for a turn, but also allows it to bulk up and just ensure the knockout.
I'm pretty sure the Annihilate faster.
I would be really surprised if it's not. Actually, what's interesting is if you're Anthony, you could say, hey, and if Annihilate's faster, I just win.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think you just click, and who cares if Protect comes out, you just click Rage Fist and win.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think, like I said, and since actually we saw the Annihilate outspeed the Archelodon, which means that's over.
Yeah.
Because we know the Golden Go speed tide, so...
I'm also looking at the team sheet right now, and I see that Annihilate is faster.
There you go, okay. That also works. And I think that means Anthony continuing the undefeated streak, 5-0 today. I think
momentarily.
In 2 seconds, we will confirm that, but I don't think there's anything Brian can do here. Yeah, Snarl's the play, just in case. And that'll wrap it up. Anthony, Plasencia. Oh my gosh, I'm tripping on my words. Plasencia. Whatever. How do you say his last name?
I don't know.
Anthony! Last name insert here. Is going to go undefeated. 5-0 going into finals. And he'll be facing the winner of Abby versus Tyler in a moment. I don't know who that is yet. But Anthony, what a nice return here. I mean, it's been a dominant day. And I think it's just because Rain with Annihilate is so good and unpredictable. Because if you lead wrong, you can just win a game. That, like, if your opponent leads wrong, I mean, you can just win a game right away. If they are prepped for Rain and you go Mouse Safe, that's a win, or vice versa. So, yeah, it's just a really well-built team.
Exactly, and we will see if it is well-built enough to win the League Challenge today. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, finals. Don't go anywhere.